Hi everyone, welcome back to another Makeup and Musings. Today I want to just give some updated thoughts on the term conscious consumerism and kind of what it means for me, because I feel like I haven't done a great job of actually explaining that, but I say it in almost every one of my videos. So I want to just dive a little bit deeper on that today with you all. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Morgan. I do this series called Makeup and Musings once every month, 2 months or so, and it's just a chance for me to sit down, put makeup on my face with you all, and talk about something that is on my mind. If this kind of makeup content sounds interesting to you, I hope you'll subscribe before you go today. And now let's jump into the video. So today's gonna be a particularly quick makeup and musings. I just want to pop on and really talk through kind of where my head is at with all of this chatter around conscious consumerism kind of amping up even more than it has in the past in kind of recent weeks. So in the beginning of most of my videos, I mentioned something along the lines of I focus my content on conscious consumerism and cruelty-free beauty. And I haven't ever really taken the time to give you all kind of my thoughts on what exactly that means. I feel like I have a somewhat good idea in my head, but also I want to acknowledge the fact that people grow and learn, and their opinions change as they grow and learn. So this is where I'm kind of sitting right now, but I don't want to give the impression that I know everything about any of these topics, or that my opinion and stance might change in the future. Or might not change in the future, I should say. So I hope you're all willing to be flexible along with me and grow and learn with me and take this video for what it is. It's just a quick update on how I'm currently feeling about kind of using this term and what it means when I use it on my channel specifically. So I'm not necessarily an expert on conscious consumerism. My experience with it really stems from learning from others in online spaces. So basically, conscious consumerism, as far as I understand it, centers a lot on just being very aware of the choices you're making as a consumer. So of course, we want to be placing the burden of doing the right thing ethically on companies, but given the fact that that's probably not going to happen anytime soon, they're probably not going to change their ways. What can we do in the meantime as consumers to make sure we're purchasing from brands whose values align with ours? So for some people, this is really going to mean purchasing only from brands who are really transparent about where they source their ingredients. So there are ethical and unethical ways to source ingredients. Some involves child labor or very underpaid labor in developing countries, and some is produced or mined, I should say. If it's like mica, for example, it can be mined in a way that isn't as harmful to people as well as the environment. So some people look for ethical sourcing of ingredients. Some people look for cruelty-free status like I do. Some people really hone in on that environmentalism piece. Some people look at clean ingredients, so things that are going to be good for your skin, your body, etc. So based on my understanding, it's really going to differ and depend on what your priorities are. I know a lot of people try to ascribe kind of one definition or try to say that something in that lineup should trump all other things. And I think it really just comes down to you have to purchase from brands that are doing things that you think are ethical. So that's kind of the baseline understanding of conscious consumerism, is just being very aware of what companies are doing to produce the goods that you're buying, and then trying to purchase from brands that are doing things that you believe are the best that they can do, given the fact that we're living in a capitalist society and they're producing goods, and that's inherently not always the best thing. So the thing that I feel like I haven't done a great job of explaining or describing or filling you all in on my channel is that I feel like I have repeatedly mentioned conscious consumerism, but I haven't exactly taken the time to dive deeper and tell you what's in my mind when I'm saying that. And in some ways it aligns with what that kind of definition I just gave is of conscious consumerism, and in some ways it doesn't quite align. So let's start with the ways that it does align, because I think that's a little easier. So I do ascribe to the idea that cruelty-free beauty is should be the only beauty. I think that testing on animals is just unnecessary and frankly ridiculous at this point. So I think that that just needs to end. And so I'm only going to support brands that do that, that have taken the steps necessary to ensure that their products and their ingredients are not tested on animals. I also do really like to take the time to highlight brands on my channel that do other good kind of conscious acts. For example, like I was saying, sourcing ethical ingredients, or in particular, I like to focus on brands that have inclusive shade ranges for all of their products. So I do have some overlap, but for me, cruelty-free is the biggest one, because I think it's been a discussion long enough that at this point, if a brand hasn't gotten on board, I just don't want to support that brand anymore. I think some other conversations like environmental sustainability and kind of ethical human labor practices are newer. And although I think all brands should have been doing that all along, I think that they need time to adapt to the new expectations in the industry. So I'm trying to give people a little more leeway there. I'm just trying to really focus on brands that are cruelty-free and then highlight brands that also do other great things as well along the way. Just to be clear, I also think inclusive shade ranges is necessary at this point. I think if you're not on board with that, then just get off the boat altogether. If it's a new brand, a brand new, independently owned, independently funded brand, I can understand easing their way in, but I think eventually you have to either be on the inclusivity train or not, and that's kind of it. So cruelty-free and inclusive shade ranges to me are the two things that I think brands should absolutely be caught up to speed on by now. So that's kind of the way in which I feel like my approach to conscious consumerism aligns with kind of what I oftentimes hear people talking about in this space. And I also want to just touch on other things I am feeling or thinking when I say conscious consumerism. So in my eyes, kind of the best way to combat negative consumerism is to just not consume as much as maybe you would have. So on my channel, I do spend a lot of my time not purchasing things. I did a no buy, low buy earlier this year. I'm kind of in July as a trial period, halfway through the year, to see if I want to continue that no and low buy or not. Either way, I would still be on a relative low buy, especially compared to, I think, other people with YouTube channels. But that being said, I do like new makeup. I do like the feeling of purchasing something new. And of course, this conversation goes beyond makeup as well. It's a conversation in the fashion industry in particular right now too, but I'm just not that into clothes. So essentially, you know, I like buying new makeup, but I also think I'm getting really good at finding the balance. I am doing a project pan. I really enjoy that because that allows me to really hold myself accountable and use up some of the older makeup in my collection before it expires. I don't want things to go to waste. So I think I am finding kind of the sweet spot on my channel of purchasing new and exciting makeup to review and to just own, and also trying to just be aware, be conscious of what I'm bringing into my life and the impact that that's having on larger systems. So kind of all of those features I was talking about in the beginning of this video, kind of the child labor, animal testing, unsustainable practices, etc. All of those tie into the idea that I'm talking about here. The idea that if you purchase less, you will be having less of an impact in all of those realms. So that's kind of been largely my approach to this. Again, like I said, my opinion may change. I am learning this as I go, and I think my awareness is growing significantly every day. So I'm doing a lot of research into this. I just wanted to give you all an update on kind of where I'm standing right now. I'm gonna do brows and mascara off camera just because they're really hard for me to talk while I do them. I'll finish up cheeks and lips in a second with you all. Okay, we're back with eyes done. And I can chat again while I do my bronzer, blush, and highlight. So I wanted to just give this update. Like I said, I think that it's important that I actually try to like define the words I'm using on here, especially when they're weighted and related to a bunch of external factors that people may not even be aware of. I think it's just important to bring awareness to those things and acknowledge the fact that no one is perfect. I can do the best that I can do. And I think trying to be aware of the impact I'm having on the world through this channel is one important step along the way. I would love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments. I think it's such an interesting topic, and I think people who come from all different backgrounds have very different opinions on different aspects of this. And I would love to hear yours. I want to keep it respectful down there. So if someone has an opinion that's different than yours, or if your opinion is different than mine, please just be respectful of the fact that everybody's coming from a different place. Some people may have dedicated their lives to research on this topic, and some people may just kind of be dipping their toes in now. So just please keep that in mind as you comment, but I would love to hear what you think. I think I'm gonna skip the highlighter today. I'm feeling pretty glowy already. Okay guys, I'm having some issues with my camera. I'm trying a new setup and it's not very stable. I'm loving how it's looking, but it's not very stable. So bear with me here for the last couple minutes. While I just kind of wrap up my lips, I just wanna leave you kind of with one last thought here. And that's that, like I said in the beginning of this, it really should be the brands that are accountable for making sure that these things are happening. And I know it may feel like the actions of one person, for example, me or you or anyone else, might not actually have any sort of real lasting impact. And that can be a really intimidating feeling. That can feel kind of hopeless and kind of put you in a headspace of well, why bother? It's not going to make a difference anyway. But I just want to remind you that your dollar is your voice. Your dollar is power. Brands want your money. So by sending a message to them of what you are and are not willing to purchase based on different ethical principles, that sends a message to the industry. I know that it may not seem like a huge impact, but I think, again, brands should take accountability for this, but we have to tell them what we want from them. And this is one way to do it. Refuse to purchase from brands that don't align with your ethical values. So I will leave it at that. I just wanted to give you all this update and kind of get a conversation going about what you all think on this and kind of other interpretations you've heard of conscious consumerism. Thank you so much for your support on my channel while I kind of figure all of this out as I go. I really, really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, I would love if you would do so before you go today. And thank you so much again for watching. I will see you next time.